What's happening, everybody? CarthOnasiGaming is finally back. I'm now in my third week of college, and I have finally gotten my mouse back from home. I accidentally left it there, and that's why I haven't been able to upload any videos. But, in celebration of this momentous occasion, I decided it would be apropos to start a new world under the New World Seed. That, and I mostly just really want to go and see an ocean monument at some point, and I'd rather not wait. So, yeah. Because this is a somewhat academic gaming channel, note the somewhat, I believed it to be fair to bring up the relatively recent controversy behind the quote-unquote change to Minecraft's end-user license agreement, or EULA as most people have taken to calling it. For those of you who hadn't noticed, Notch himself published a comment on the whole controversy, pointing out the fact that the EULA itself hadn't actually changed, and basically that the rules that were supposedly instated in the quote-unquote new EULA were really just rules that were in the old EULA that no one really read, I guess. Like, they were rules that had already been instated and rules that people were supposed to follow, but nobody actually followed them because they didn't really understand that they were rules. If that makes any sense. So I figured I'd kind of put in my 2 cents in this whole debacle, because honestly it's quite entertaining to see both sides of the argument. And there are honestly 2 sides to this big argument. I'm torn on the whole argument. My thought is, I both like and dislike the idea of paying to win. It's a good way to cover server fees and things like that without the casual players like me having to pay on our previously free servers, where, you know, people are taking their parents' credit cards and dropping $200 just buying, diamond swords and free diamonds and stuff like that, to hide the fact that they really can't PvP in Minecraft. Well, PvP they can't build, or whatever it is that they usually can't do, because that's what most people donate for. That, and or, they just want to have easy access to these items because they're like, I've been playing Minecraft for ages, I know how to get these items, so just give them to me, I'll pay you for them. In my opinion, it's a brilliant marketing strategy on the side of the servers, because they are going to have to cover upkeep fees, and if they're anything like the server that I wound up helping / modding / adminning for, they're going to have to save up money so that they can pay their admins. Obviously, the EULA has been clarified in some ways. You are allowed to sell some things in servers, but these things can't be game-changing in any way, shape, or form. Like, they can't give any character a major advantage in the game. To quote the update committee on Minecraft, I think this is almost a direct quote, you are allowed to sell purely cosmetic items. Things like hats, capes, different colors in chat, and things like that are acceptable to be sold with hard currency. You're not allowed to sell anything that would somehow influence gameplay. So, like, you're not allowed to have people be quote-unquote donating, because anyone that's donated to a server knows that they didn't really donate. They were paying for these benefits. I mean, occasionally you will find the person who does just want to donate so that the server can keep going. But more often than not, you're getting irresponsible 12, 13, 14-year-olds taking their parents' credit cards and dropping $50, $75, $100 on a couple diamonds, suit of diamond armor with god enchantments in some cases. And the server happens to benefit because of it, because they're getting a free $100 from, well, it's not really free, but they're getting $100 from the naivete of a child that happens to be conniving enough to convince their parents that it would be a good investment to give them $100 to play $100 more so that they can play Minecraft and feel good about themselves. So that's the first side of the argument. In my opinion, if people really want to drop that much money on in-game perks like free diamonds and armor and equipment like that, then let them. There's no reason to keep them from doing so, but I do understand where Minecraft is coming, where Mojang is coming from. And I do agree with their side, because on the same token, I have been the guy that has been, I have been the oppressed underneath the iron fist of the quote-unquote donators. So, it's a double-edged blade. And really, you just have to decide which is your priority more than the other. Would you rather continue playing on your free servers, giving people their advantages and such like that, so that you don't have to pay to play on a server, continuing in that ideal, and it also gives people, in essence, a way to, generate a minor amount of income, because, I've considered doing the same, not necessarily offering in-game perks like that, but, have donating be, one of the criteria taken into account when you consider promoting someone to another rank. Like, it's not that you have to donate. Like, if someone has proven that they are loyal to the server, they're on a good amount of time, they earn the position that they're applying for, then obviously they should have it over someone that happened to donate. Well, donate, whenever I say donate, just assume that I'm putting the air quotes around it. Donating $100 so that they can become admin on a server, when in reality the people that are doing that are the ones that are the most likely, in my opinion, to abuse the powers that come along with it. And I've seen it happen. I've seen a server, in essence, ruined because of irresponsible admins and mods that happened to lie about their age so that they could get a position of power on the server. That was actually the server that I wound up adminning for. I had gone on it with a friend of mine, Dominic Frechette. He happens to play trumpet really well, He's a good friend of mine. He introduced me to the server. So I started going on it more and more, I'm starting to get, people are starting to recognize who I am. Mostly because I'm that guy that's spending all his time underwater building biodomes out of glass and sand. And it comes up one day, people are talking about, oh, I've got this really cool rank, so I could do all this crap on the server. And then, I'm talking about, how I've been on the server for, months, and at that point it had actually been a year since I had been on the server, a little more than a year. And I bring up, it's kind of funny. The only reason I don't have an administration position in this thing is because I haven't donated. And then that's when they wound up promoting me to helper. And then a while after that, apparently some guy, they had designed, where am I going? They had designed, a new spawn in their area, and it happened to have a whole lot of coal blocks on the base of it because they happened to look really cool. And honestly, they did, but you know, there's the inherent risk that you take when when you're making anything flammable. And one of their admins had wound up using a fireball command, and it caught the whole spawn on fire. And that actually happened twice at the hands of the same guy. And it took them that long to finally say, okay, look, we know it's you. You need to knock it the heck off. Because the first time they had to reload a save that was, it was easily like 2 or 3 months old. So a lot of the really cool skyscrapers and things that people had been building were gone. Alright. And after that had happened, they had taken to building an entirely new world because of the massive world updates that were coming in 1.5, 1.6, and all that jazz. And I wound up popping on to help because, I'm that guy. I like building stuff. And so they wound up giving me admin as I was helping them quite a bit. I wound up being like the guy that was making most of the admin shop. And I go off the server for a while because, I was getting kind of slammed in school and I was getting busy in general. I come back and I've been stripped of rank and everything I had owned. I was literally back to square one in the case. And then I wound up talking to a couple friends of mine who were who had been playing on the server while I had been gone. And they had told me that the server owner had delegated one of his friends to overseeing the server while he was busy with school, similar to how I was. He wound up getting the title of staff leader, and in his reign of terror, he decided it would be intelligent to kick me off of the server administrators. So I wound up starting at square one of the server again. And the thing is, all of that staff, except for the owner, were under 15. Other than me and a friend of mine that I had met on another server and guided to that server. Her and I and the owner were the only people on that server's officers list that were over 15. And since then, me and her have neglected to go on that server again because one of the officers was acting very, very childish. If people wouldn't listen to his ideas, he would mute them or kick them. If they were saying stuff that he disagreed with, he would mute them and he wouldn't unmute them. He actually did it to me once, too. We were talking about something that I said something that apparently he didn't agree with. Because next thing I know, I try to say something that says, "You have been muted." And I actually had to talk to my friend, the one that wasn't 15 years old, and she had to be the one to unmute me. So, it really just shouldn't be about how much you've donated to the server. If you're gonna run a server that way, you've got to run it. I don't really want to use this word, but you've got to run it like a business, in my opinion. Because if you're not running it like a business, you're going to get people that are incompetent and unable to handle their jobs. Jesus. You'll get those people running the server, and the server's going to tank. You're going to get fewer people going on there. You're only going to have that, your admin's tight group of friends. You're going to wind up having spent all of that time building up the server to have it stripped away by 1 or 2 bad admins. So there's technical rant for the day. Okay. What is all of my crap? Shit. Store all my crap. Got it all in. That's good. Okay. Now in classic Minecraft fashion, we go mining for gold, I suppose. So, in the spirit of building up the academic ideals of this little channel here, I want anyone who's watching and cares enough to type in a couple words to put your 2 cents into the argument. Because obviously this isn't just about me, and this isn't just about Mojang, and it's not just about well, it really is kind of just about Minecraft, but you know, you guys know what I mean. It's not all about what one person thinks, and I kind of want to spark intellectual debate in here, so leave a comment and give your side and why you believe your side is correct, if you care enough to leave your 2 cents in this little argument, because I've seen plenty of forum posts of people who are more than willing to do that. And in the meantime, I am going to gather supplies so I can go and explore these ocean monuments that I've heard so much about. Alright, so since I never got to tell any of you about this, I am now in college. And that's why I haven't been able to post any content. I've been, busy getting into my schedule, you know, finally finding my balance of what I can do and when and for how often, you know, all of that fun stuff right there. And secondly, being the genius I am, I left my mouse at my dad's house. So when he sent his care package to me, you know, 3 weeks in, you know, I asked that he send my mouse with me, and clearly now I finally have said mouse, so I can continue. Shit it. How did I not die right there? How did I not die? Well, thanks, Drake. So yeah, now I'm finally in college. For those of you who are wondering, and for those of you who aren't wondering but are kind of captive here listening to me, I am going to be dual majoring in computer engineering and electrical engineering. Yeah. And since I took a lot of dual enrollment classes my high school years, a lot of the classes that I have to take, like a lot of the basics classes, like Calculus 1, Physics by Inquiry I would normally have to take, and Physics Lab. I don't have to take any of those classes now, because I wound up taking their equivalent in high school, and I did well enough in each of those classes. So, yeah, lucky me, because of all that, I wound up only having 4 classes this first semester. So that's going to leave me a good amount of time to, you know, obviously post videos for all of you wonderful people. And I'm also trying to, you know, get myself signed up in an enterprise, because that's something that my college is famous for, because they've got their hands out in a lot of countries that are companies, not countries. A lot of companies that are near the college, and you know, with how well they wound up teaching their students, are, you know, the students at the college wound up basically getting first picks on jobs that they have offering. So, you know, I'm going to try and get signed up in an enterprise, which is basically, it's like an extracurricular of, like, learning skills that you can use in a business. One that I'm looking at joining is, aerospace defense. Because, you know, planes flying around is fun. Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been up to lately. I've been trying to get into the college swing, and I've been trying to get videos out to you guys as soon as I could. Let's wait. Right. Oh. Yeah. Alright. I think that honestly this is going to be a good spot to end this, the first video of our new 1.8 series. Like I said, the main reason I switched over to this was to celebrate my switching into college and so that I could explore these ocean monuments as soon as I possibly could. So I think that I'm going to end this session here, and at your request I'm going to either continue this series or I am going to continue running the NPC harvesting challenge because you guys seemed to take a liking to that. And again, you also seem to take a liking to me doing the mod showcases, so we'll see what happens. But for now, this has been CarthOnasiGaming, signing off.